Hey everybody, welcome in to another episode of The Dig. I'm Jessica Coody, and The Dig, as always, powered by Emeritus, and a special guest for today's episode, senior middle blocker Rebekah Allick. How does that sound? Senior.
Weird. I feel so grown.
Well, we normally have assistant coaches on this podcast, but you're kind of almost there as an assistant coach.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like it. Dani, we're so player-led now. It's so crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I do want to dive into all of that, but how's it going? How's the summer? You're getting some time off right now, right?
Yeah. We had till June. I'll be reporting back June 1st. I got a lot of stuff going on here in Lincoln, and I love spending time with my family, so I don't really wander that far.
Yeah. Well, how was the spring when you closed the spring? I mean, I know there's some changes there. How'd you feel about where the team was when you guys walked off the court in Ord, Nebraska?
Yeah, I felt really good. I feel like the competition in the gym is really high. But I remember I shared this with, I'm trying to figure out what network I was with, but I just feel like we have a lot of raw potential right now. I think there's a lot of things we need to clean up on, but for where we're at in the spring, I think we're in a really good spot.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, when you get the news, I guess, Coach Cook is telling you guys he's retiring, how did you react? What were the emotions for you then?
I was crying like a baby. I do not handle that kind of change very well, and yeah, I really wanted to win one with him because he's a legend in the game. He's been around forever, and so, yeah, I just felt like a missed opportunity last year and the year before, and so, I don't know. I just feel like it was so quick to when he also shared when Dani was coming, and it was just a lot to try and figure out in your brain. It was just a lot going on, and so, yeah, I was crying a lot, though.
I can only imagine. I mean, because you know, you think it's one coach, and all of a sudden, no, now we got another one. Just the whole whatever hour it was that you're trying to process all of that. So what? And immediately when Dani comes in, what was your reaction, and what did you learn quickly about her and what she wanted to bring to being the head coach of Nebraska volleyball?
I guess from the moment I heard her name, I was skeptical because I'm like, I just was told that my coach is leaving. I was like, forget this. I don't want to do this. And then I remember leaving, and I was like, Dani Busboom. And so it started to sink in. I'm like, okay. And Coach had a lot of great things to say about her. He acknowledged that if you were to compare his last years and her last years, she had a better winning percentage and Final Four appearances. And so he was really gassing her up there in the locker room. And so that gave me a lot of confidence because, you know, he's a very intentional man when it comes to who he praises. And so I thought that spoke a lot of volume. And, yeah, I just feel like through the spring she's done nothing but be herself, and that's just reaffirmed everything that, you know, she said that she would be. And she pulled us aside within, like, the first week of being on campus and just laid it out, like, this is who I am, this is my story, and if you want to get to know me, I would love that. But I obviously understand everything on your own time. But, yeah, she's really big on transparency, so it made it really easy to buy in. And I think, for me personally, anytime it comes to change, I would like to know, like, what's your vision, what's your goals, what makes you motivated? And she hasn't shied away from answering any of that. Even the hard stuff that I used to be scared to ask, she's just been super transparent about it, be like, you know what, this is not the right time. And so, yeah, I just love everything about her. Her personality, her sense of humor, her motivation, and her intentionality is just exactly what we need.
That's amazing. So you had said it's so player-led with her. How is that different? What are, I guess, how does that look when you say that you guys are more player-led? Yeah,
I think Coach is just used to taking the reins and having to put the foot down. And I think you see a lot of girls. Me personally, I was never really fazed by it. I've always been coached by a guy like that. So, you know, if you're horsing around, he's going to let you know, and he's going to let you feel it. And so for me, I just always had my head on right during practice, and I don't know if things just weren't clicking. He wasn't shy to let you know. It's be like, I know what the standard is. You know what the standard is. Why aren't we competing at that level? So very black and white, and I think with Dani, she's a lot more like, I want to see you guys fail. You need to fail to figure this out, and I need to know what you guys look like when you fail. And I think that's really huge, again, with change, but also being at a high level. I think, you know, 70 to 80% of this team can go pro and play in the top teams. We need to figure out how to pull our own teammates out without, you know, a voice barking in, barking out. And she knows that, for example, Dani's the kind of person to be like, if we run a crazy play, she would just straight up ask, "What was that?" And we're like, "Is that a genuine question?" She goes, "Yeah, what was that?" And it's just very conversational, and I think that's great. You know, she doesn't utilize those opportunities to kind of make you question, was that the right idea? She goes, "No, I want to hear where you're coming from so we can figure out if that's something we want to move forward with or if we need to just trash." So that's just one example. And yeah, I just see a lot of people kind of come out of their shell. I think what's great is, like, we have so many different leaders on the team, and so every opponent, moment, you know, the game of volleyball has a lot of ebbs and flows. So I may not always need to talk in the huddle, or Harper may not always need to talk in the huddle. You have a lot of different leaders on the team, and it's like different people can step up. Olivia can step up. It's just like, I don't know, it's very easygoing in my opinion.
That's amazing. You know, you had brought this up, and I think we've seen this throughout the last few years, is just how competitive the gym is. Was that something that you knew what you were getting into? You've always embraced that? Because, you know, in nature, you don't always want to compete every single day for your job. But I guess, how have you grown into embracing that aspect of Nebraska volleyball?
Yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head with that. I don't think a lot of people want to go into their jobs having to compete. So it's like day in and day out, I have to be able to give 100% of what I have, and it's regardless of what's going on in my personal life. And I don't think a lot of athletes realize how hard it is, because some of these athletes just float through college and they're like, I don't understand what the struggle was. Well, it's like, then you didn't fully give what you had, in my opinion. It's not easy, I will admit, because there are some weeks, not even days, there are weeks where you're not clicking. For example, I'm not clicking with my setters, or my serve's not going in. Like, things just aren't going well, and you still have to figure out, okay, how do I show up next week? And not just go through the motions and not pout, but how do I actually get better after that crapshoot of a week? So those are the hard ones, but it is so rewarding when you pull yourself out of that space. I mean, I pretty much had a whole season of that last year. So I understand what it feels like to struggle day in and day out, but I never stopped trying, because I knew at one point it was going to click, and that's honestly what my entire senior spring has been. 2025 is looking really freaking good for me. I'm really excited. I don't know, I just feel like you're not really entitled to anything, and I think what I'm excited about is I always put myself in the best position to succeed, and I usually give everything I have. So it's like I can walk away even if I get my face pounded, and it's like, well, I gave everything I had, so there's not really much that could have gone different, you know? So I think the competition piece is just kind of who I am. I think it's the way I was brought up. It was the expectation that John Cook gave me when I signed to be a Husker. He goes, if you want to be great, you got to come in and pretty much put your life out there on the court. It's not going to be easy. I'm not going to tell you it's going to be easy. And he didn't promise me any playing time ever. He told me I could be great, and I believed him. And, yeah.
What amazing perspective. You know, you talked about this spring for you. What were, knowing you're going into your senior spring, you've been such a staple of Nebraska volleyball for 3 years. What were some areas that you're like, okay, I want to do this better, I want to get better here, I want to be able to impact more here or there?
Yeah, I want to kill balls and serve aces. That's, truth be told, I think that's like how I'm going to put myself on the opponent's map. Like, that's how I make myself a threat, because it's not even about, oh, Rebekah Allick's a threat. It's if I'm going out there and they're comfortably able to ignore me, that's a problem, because now my pin hitters have easily a double block every time. So, like, I need to be a threat for the sake of the team. So, yeah, I need to kill more balls. I got to be up and available, and definitely serving. I think it's a pretty good draw between me and Andy right now, and either one of us behind the line is a really good pick. And, of course, I'm not going to shy away from wanting that. So I think I just got to continue to kill balls in practice and serve up Pete from the end line. And then from that piece, once you serve it, you got to be able to play defense. So, yeah, I just got to tighten up in those loose areas. And, yeah, I think those are probably the 3 big contributors for me this season.
That's awesome. I think our listeners might be interested. How do you work and improve and make yourself where you are a threat from the service line? I mean,
yeah.
Just practice, or what goes into that?
Yeah, I think it's just intentional reps. That's really all I can say, because it's just you and the ball back there. It's the one skill that you have complete control over. It's just you and the ball. So if I'm going to waste 30 minutes of practice when we're serving, then that's on me, and it's going to show up in the game. So, yeah, it really is just intentional reps.
Is that something you can do on your own? Like, you know, when you go shoot in the basketball gym, you can shoot without anybody being in there. Is that a skill that you can work on with nobody else in the gym?
Yeah.
Yeah. When we had John Baylor on going into the spring match, he had mentioned that how much it looks like they're going to utilize you a little bit more in the offense. Are you, I guess, what's gone into that for you, and just, again, continuing to build that chemistry and relationship with Bergen? Yeah,
it's been huge. I mean, both Bergen and Campbell, they can dish out dimes. I think they always put the ball in the right spot, and if not, I got to register, well, first, am I the problem? And there's probably a good percentage that I am. And then from there, then I try and nitpick, you know, hey, like, can I get it higher, faster, that type of stuff. But it's just been up and available, and I've been working a lot with Brendan Hager on my arm swing, and that has opened up so much opportunity for me. So I've always been able to hit and slice those low balls, but I need to be able to crush like a good set. And so that's been a game changer for me in the offense. Yeah, I think a lot of it has just been my personal work with Brendan. Me and him have made a lot of breakthroughs this spring.
I know you've always been driven, but you just seem like you're on a different level. I could see it in your eyes, just how hungry you are. I mean, is that right? Do you feel that right now?
Yeah. There really is. Like, there's no other option for us to win, but to win this year. I don't know, in the past, it's always like, oh, you know, we're going to give our best this year. We're going to give our best. This is my last shot, as far as I know. Until NCAA passes any new rules, this is all I have. And I haven't even started the conversation of looking overseas or looking here in the United States for pro. So this is my life. And I have given up so much for this freaking program. And I don't know, I was just with this 4th grade team last night. I was participating in their little volleyball practice. And it had me reflecting on, like, where I was at their age. And, you know, I remember they kept hitting the ball over on one. And I remember being at their age. I was like, guys, why aren't we doing 3 hits? Like, I have just been obsessed with this game since I first found it. And I don't know, I just feel like what I want from this team, what I want from myself in Nebraska volleyball is different. I think my freshman year, I was just happy to be there. Sophomore year, I just wanted to be an All-American. I was being selfish. Truth be told. In junior year, I just got so far in my head, I kind of let myself go with my diet, and I paid the consequences for it. I just kept having a pity party, and it wasn't until the last couple of months that I realized it's like, that was your junior year. Like, 3rd strike, you got one more going. And so, yeah, I just feel like this year's different. I realized what's important. I started to value the human beings next to me, not just athletes, but these are girls, these are women, and they're doing their best too. So it's just different this year. Wow.
I've always appreciated with you, you seem to just have always, you're authentically you, right? And you are just so comfortable in you and who you are and what you bring to a team. And a lot of women don't ever feel that way. What's your advice in being okay with where your feet are and what you're doing, and being okay with those big dreams and those big goals that you have? Just, I guess, in your own skin, being comfortable in that, whether it's good, bad, ugly, and then just embracing whatever comes that way.
Yeah, I think I'll answer your 2 questions. So the first one about confidence. The biggest thing for confidence with me was being consistent in all the different people I interact with. So I was 1,000% a people pleaser. There was the party scene, there was the good Catholic Christian scene, and there was my family. Like, I was just all these different characters. And it just doesn't align. And so also in the way that I treated people, so maybe they weren't of super high status. And it's like, am I still treating the head coach and the janitor with the same respect? Because it's not about their roles. It's like, those are human beings with souls and purpose, and they deserve my time and eye contact and all of those different things. So I noticed when I was more consistent in all different parts of my lives, from personal to social, I found myself, I don't know, like, I'd just been able to go to those different events, and it's still me. So I just started having more power in my no. I think as a woman, even like in motherhood, we constantly just give ourselves up. We give up our body. We give up our time. Like, I think just as a woman, like, until you're really at that stage, and even through that stage, like, you still need to be okay with saying no. And it doesn't even have to take like a legal case or an assault to be like, this is my no. It's like, your no is like, no, I'm tired. I appreciate the invite, but I'm staying home tonight. And I noticed when I started saying no to things, I started to feel like, okay, yeah, I do deserve that. I do deserve worth defending. I do deserve worth being listened to. And if you're not going to listen to me, I'm just going to walk away. My mom always said, if you can't be nice, be quiet. And there's so many times where I have to be quiet because I'm like, Josiah taught me this quote a month ago. It goes, arguing with the fool proves they are too. There's no point. And then this other one I learned was you can lose an argument with an intelligent person. You can never win one with a fool. So it's just like knowing your scenes. Like, is this person even worth breaking down this, or are they it's just going to go over their head? Just simply walk away. And so I think just consistency in actions has been huge in my confidence and saying no. And then to answer your question about goals, I just don't apologize for them. I had this whole debate with my buddy, was it, who was it? Was it Reed and Sam? There are two other athletes here. And I was going in about, I thought I could be great in basketball, like really great in basketball. I didn't doubt, I feel like I could have played with Caitlin Clark. I don't doubt that to this day. To this day, I think if I would have stuck it with basketball, I could have been hooping with Cece. And they just couldn't fathom it. Like, you're delusional, da da da. And I go, I tried going in on them and bringing down the stats, and then I realized, this isn't going to go anywhere. And it's just having that kind of confidence. It's like, I'm not going to apologize of what I think I'm capable of. Obviously, it may not be today or tomorrow or in a year, but wait till you see me in 4 years. And I think I just stopped apologizing for my goals and what I want out of this life. My teammates, they give me a hard time about my Chacos and my barefoot shoes, but I believe in what they do for my body. I believe they do with my mental health. And if people aren't going to listen, then that's okay. But I know it works for me, and that's okay. So, yeah, I think the biggest thing with both confidence and your goals, just stop apologizing. Be like, oh, sorry, was that weird? No, yeah, heck yeah, it was weird. You don't have to get it. This is my goal, not your goal. So.
Oh, I love that. I just always love chatting with you. This summer, what's going on for you this summer? What do you got planned, and how are you going to try to embrace this time before you go into maybe what could potentially be your senior season? Yeah,
I am just trying to pour myself out to the community because Lincoln has done nothing but been a life jacket for me, and my gosh, this community here is just so good. And so I'll be hanging out. I got a call with Susie Brown. She's head of F Street Community Center, and we're just going to talk about what does F Street need. And my goal is to wrangle some athletes together, who's ever willing, or even just fellow students, people at the Newman Center, who's honestly willing to lend their time just to cater to F Street, because it's not in the nicest part of Lincoln, and I think it's really easy for those kids to, again, feel like forgotten about, unimportant, like they can get away with stuff, and I just want them to know, no, you're paid attention to as well. So, yeah, I'll be giving my time there, hanging out with family, friends. One of my really good friends, she just had her baby, so I'll be hanging out with them. I'm really excited. And, I got the life skills trip to Panama. I actually leave Sunday. I'm really excited. And, yeah, just volleyball camps, Husker camps, training. June and July will look a lot like the previous years, but this month of May is beautiful chaos.
I love that beautiful chaos. We were chatting before we were recording this interview just about all the NIL stuff, and I know it's a whirlwind and it's a lot to manage for student athletes these days, but you've decided to kind of take it on yourself and then make sure that you are aligned with whoever you're working with. What's that been like? And I guess how grateful are you too, just for the opportunities and that you are able to maybe have certain people that you can work with throughout these opportunities?
Yeah, I'm definitely grateful for anybody who reaches out to me. I think it's super flattering when, someone wants to work with you because they like what, you have to offer, they like you. But that doesn't mean I always say yes. And I think the hardest part is, taking people by their word and believing that their business is what they stand for, because you can find a lot of businesses who project that they're about the people and they're about quality product, and then you actually receive it and you're like, this is junk. This is not what you told me it would be. And so it's hard. It's just that I tell people this all the time. I get reached out to on Instagram and be like, hey, we'll send you, A, B, C, and if you post this video, and I go, well, what if I don't like it? And they're like, I'm sorry, but I've never met you before, and you want to send me a product to post. I'm not just going to take your money, buddy. This is my friends and family. I'm not going to sell your product if it's junk. I'm sorry. And so I tell people this. I go, hey, I'm more than happy to receive the product. I like your brand. But if I don't like it, I'm not going to post a video, and usually they don't text back. And one brand did. They're like, okay, yeah, that's totally fair. We'll send you more flavors, too, if you're interested. It was this David's bar. It's this protein bar. It's actually pretty good. It's actually based, have you seen Thunderbolts?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, if you see it, it's Red Guardian. It's Yelena's dad.
Okay.
It's his nutrition bar. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I don't know. I'm really honest. I don't want to waste people's time. And when it does align, I get super pumped. And then obviously it's just a follow through from both of our ends. But yeah, I guess like the most common time I get rejected after they reach out is when I'm like, I'm not going to post this, but I'm more than happy to receive your product. And if I like it, I will recommend it, and we'll go from there. And so you don't find a lot of brands like, oh, sheesh. So yeah, I'm pretty transparent. With local businesses, I don't usually charge little to nothing. Usually they are like, no, please let me pay you. I'm like, okay, thank you, I appreciate it. But like local businesses, you're obviously not Adidas, Nike, so it's like whatever funding you have, keep that in the business, keep that in the community. And so that's another thing, but I think just organizing it all has been the biggest game changer in my NIL game. Is like, I told you, I was like, I made a separate email, so that really helped me out, like organizing stuff and getting things done. So yeah.
Have you learned a lot just that you can carry with you as you go even beyond volleyball, just the business aspect of it? Has there been some positives there that you've learned on maybe how to operate on outside of volleyball? Yeah,
for sure. I think just communication, man, it is huge in the name of business, because I had this email from like 2024 of April, so almost like a year-old email, and I never followed through. I don't know what happened, but I never followed through. And so I shot her an email because I was cleaning stuff out, and all I said was, hey, I'm really sorry that this never worked out. I appreciate you wanting to work with me. Take care, God bless. And she got back to me within like 5 minutes in that email and goes, thank you so much for touching base. It's okay that it didn't work out. I really appreciate you following up, even if it was a year later. And it just really put it in perspective. It's like, dang, people like still, you would have thought like she would have moved on because I moved on. No, like in the name of business, like people are intentional with who they entrust their business with. Like that's their kid. And so it really taught me, I'm like, whoa, I need to be careful with how I start and end conversations, because sometimes they're just waiting on that reply. And, you know, when you don't reply, that sends a message to them, whether you like it or not. Like lack of communication is still a message. So that was a hard one to realize, because I'm like, oh my gosh. Then I started thinking about all the other deals I didn't communicate on. I'm like, oh my gosh. But it's like, oh gosh, I'm still learning. You know, I turned 21 in January. I'm still figuring it out, you know.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's okay. Well, just to kind of wrap this up, because I know I've taken a lot of your time, what about for the team? You know, when you talk about this team has big goals and now you have this time in the summer, what needs to happen for this group, you know, to do what you need to do come the fall, come August or July when you come back together?
Yeah, I think just establishing roles for sure. That's going to be huge. I think there's obviously I think the media is really picking out to be more attention than I'm aware of, like the libero jersey. But Dani knows what she's doing, so people just got to trust the process. And yeah, so establishing roles. And I think just an honest assessment of like, how bad do you want this? Because I think it's fair for me to be like, yeah, I know how bad I want this. I know my why. Like, I know what I need to do to win that trophy. And I think I also need to consider everyone else is at different phases of their life. Like, I'm on my way out. The freshmen just got here. So this might just be, they're probably going to do what I did my freshman year. Like, they're just happy to be here. They're going to compete their butt off and walk away satisfied. And it's like, you don't really, you know, I just got to think about and consider those kinds of things that everyone's like Sue Enquist, a really good sports psych, she broke it down saying how like there's different levels of commitment, and that's not a bad thing. When you can acknowledge everyone has a different commitment level, that's where you can thrive, instead of beating down people because they don't want XYZ the same way you do. So yeah, I think just an honest assessment of where you're at, how committed are you, and you know, what do you want specifically out of the fall semester and fall season of 2025. Do not even think the next 4 years. I promise you, I thought I could walk out of here with 4 trophies. I just want one. It is so hard to get one. And yeah, I think those are going to be some pretty big keys for us this season.
What about just the volleyball part of it and the team aspect of are you spending time together and building that camaraderie? Are you getting in the gym on your own? How does that work for this group?
Yeah, I think there's a mix. We got a couple of people, me being one of them. Like, I'm a pretty independent person. I love working out by myself. Like, that's where I thrive. You know, just I'm in the zone, no music, maybe a couple tunes, but it's just me and
do that.
Oh my gosh, it's a game changer with the focus. You really start to feel your reps when you do that. It's a game changer. And you know, some of my teammates, they love like having their pal to like chat it up with and stuff like that. And I think that's great. Like, having different personalities is huge because, you know, you have people like me who can rub them or push them to be like, hey, like, this is something you got to go through by yourself. And then they have, you know, they can rub off on me saying like, no, this is something we do together. And so I think it creates a good amount like tension. So it causes like a good push and pull, and it keeps us right in that middle where we can succeed and meet each other's needs.
I could talk to you for 2 more hours, but I know you're busy. Thank you so much for always learn so much and take so much away. You're so inspiring to talk to. So appreciate your time. Enjoy the summer, and we'll look forward to talking to you again going into your senior season.
Yes, thank you, Jessica.
Rebekah Allick here with us on The Dig. As always, Emeritus is proud to power this podcast and all of Husker women's sports. Thanks for listening and watching.